Hello there guys, welcome back to Blues Fans TV for yet another match preview of mine, but this time ahead of the first Champions League group stage game of the season as Chelsea are to take on Sevilla at Stamford Bridge tomorrow night on Tuesday night, with the kickoff being at 8 PM UK time, and I'm excited for it. But I would be a lot more excited if I didn't have to remember Saturday's game and would already have to be pissed off again, because it still pisses me off. But more on that later, Of course, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to Blues Fans TV. That'd be massively appreciated. Drop a like if you do enjoy our content. And if you just want to cheer me up, that'd be great. And of course, leave me your thoughts ahead of the game down in the comment section below. And also, just lastly, make sure you subscribe to my personal channel as well. The link is up there if you click the I button, or down in the description. That'd be massively appreciated if you could help me towards getting 7,000 subscribers. But yeah, enough of that. And just lastly, quickly, before getting into the video itself, do pre-order Football Manager 21 with the link in the description. Get it early, pretty much just for being a Chelsea fan, and get 10% off using the code BluesFansTV. And also, if you want to order any of the new Chelsea kits, make sure you use the other link in the description below and use our promo code BOOTS for 25% discount. But yeah, enough waffle, more than enough waffle. And now let's get into, I would say, the most important bits from Frank Lampard's press conference, but that doesn't really exist. So, the only thing that was really shared with us is that Billy Gilmour is expected to be back fit in around 3 weeks, and will then most likely start training with the under-23s to get back into the rhythm. But of course, also be part of the first team. And, once he's fully fit, will have, full-time be part of the first team. But other than that, there was literally nothing else. Literally, that was the only somewhat interesting information we got, because none of the journalists asked about team news. The only thing we know is that Edouard Mendy is still not fit, because Lampard stated that after the Southampton game on Saturday. But we have no idea whether he now deems Hakim Ziyech fit to start, for example, whether Christian Pulisic is fit enough to start 2 games in a row, how Ben Chilwell's foot is doing after playing a full 90 on Saturday, whether Mateo Kovacic will be involved again now after missing Saturday's game, presumably because he had his first baby on Thursday. That was never confirmed why he wasn't involved. So, we have really no information. So saying that, with that information, or rather lack thereof, let's get into the team that I myself would field, and then my predicted 11 ahead of tomorrow's game. And of course, as always, starting with the goalkeepers on this side of the screen. Now, it is a shame that Mendy is still out, especially because Sevilla are actually quite dangerous from set pieces, especially proven in the final Europa League tournament, I guess. But even if you made a big error, when our opponent presses us, which I think Sevilla will, especially having analysed Saturday's game against Southampton, we can't afford to play Caballero, in my opinion. With him, we have 0 chance of retaining possession when we're forced to pass it back to the keeper. So just for that reason, in my opinion, Kepa has to play, because in terms of saves, both of them can have good days and shockers. So, I don't think there's much between them. Of course, Kepa can have a worse day than Caballero, possibly, but I don't think there's much between them, in all honesty. And just because of the distribution, especially when we're, put under pressure from the press, I think it just has to be Kepa. As for the centre-backs, there's no debate in my mind that it has to be Thiago Silva and Kurt Zouma. Even if Zouma screwed up badly that one time on the weekend, it's one mistake. And it is a rarity for him, so dropping him for one mistake would be ridiculous if we think about how many players keep playing even though they've made mistakes. So that would be silly in my opinion. At left back, of course, it should be Ben Chilwell to start again, if he is fit to do so. Again, like I said, we don't actually know. And then on the right, I am in a bit of a pickle, to be honest, because when we are getting pressed, I am more confident in Reece James with the ball at his feet, but in terms of positioning and defending in general, or also giving silly fouls away, like the foul that led to the 3-3, which was James's foul, against the good Sevilla side as well, I'd prefer Azpilicueta, I think. So for me, Aspi slightly edges it and makes the team for me. In midfield, and even in terms of formation, I'm, to be honest, not really sure. I'm stuck in 2 minds really, because 4-2-3-1 allows Havertz to play in his best position. And I would probably say that that's more important than only a slight bit more defensive stability, because I don't think it's that the extra defensive stability is that crazy unless we deploy tactics that we use, for example, against Man City or Liverpool, when we are, a bit more compact and play more of a flat midfield 3. And I don't think we will do that regardless. So I would probably stick with the 4-2-3-1. But then, do I replace N'Golo Kante or Jorginho with Kovacic if he's back? Realistically, if our problem is dealing with the high press of the opponent, Jorginho and Kovacic as a pairing is without doubt the best pairing. But, yes, Kante had a shocker of the first half against Southampton, in my opinion, but against Sevilla, even I wouldn't drop him. So I'd probably say stick to Jorginho and Kante as the double pivot, and then bring Kovacic on in the second half, possibly even changing it to a 4-3-3, depending on the result at the time. But then coming to the front 4, who, in all honesty, kind of picked themselves, let's be honest, because if they're all able to start, it has to be Havertz as the 10, Pulisic on the left, better not be on the right again. Hakim Ziyech on the right instead of him, of course, and Timo Werner starting up front. It just has to be like that, in my opinion. So that's my team on this side of the screen. And now getting into my predicted 11, as in Frank Lampard's team. And actually, I think Frank will start Caballero over Kepa. I hope I'm wrong, but I think he will. Otherwise, I think he'll pick the same defence as myself, with Silva, Thiago Silva, Zuma, Chilwell, and Azpilicueta. Maybe Reece James, but I'm pretty sure he will go for those 4. But I do actually think that Lampard will go for a 4-3-3 rather than a 4-2-3-1, with Jorginho at the base of the midfield, Kante to his right as a slightly more attacking player in the right CM role, I guess. And then either Mateo Kovacic or Mason Mount on the left of them. Probably, if we're being totally honest with ourselves, probably Mason Mount over Kovacic. Although even I don't really have a crazy preference, because yes, it is more of a solid midfield, but if he's going to pick that formation, even I would probably argue that Mount is better suited to it, so we don't limit ourselves completely with attacking options from midfield. But then the front three, I expect Pulisic to start on the left again, because I mean, I think we gave him enough time to be able to start 2 in a row. But then I think Havertz will be on the right rather than Hakim Ziyech, and still Timo Werner up front. Maybe, I wouldn't even be totally shocked if it's Werner on the left and Tammy up front with Havertz on the right. I would hate it, but I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. So that is my predicted 11. But coming to the game itself, I guess, what we really need in this game is balls. Not like in the second half on Saturday, or the second half against Spurs, or the first half against West Brom. Because Sevilla won't be scared to press us. And if we cannot find a pretty way around it, or out of it, we better be finding other solutions, because the players haven't. Frank Lampard has earmarked that after the game, but I think it's very easy for Frank to just say, oh, the players didn't do it. Well, then maybe you should question yourself if they don't do what you're trying to tell them. But, you know, that's an easy cop-out. It's both of their fault that we didn't deal with Southampton's press better, both the players and the manager. But regardless of whether we have a tall striker up front or not, if we don't, the forwards just have to make runs, you know, in behind the defenders and the midfielders, then have to try and find them with long balls when necessary. We have the pace up top. Timo, Pulisic, you know, if Ziyech plays, Havertz, they have the pace to get in behind. So if we can't beat the press, they need to make those runs, and then the defenders and midfielders need to try and find them if we can't get out of the press by passing our way out of it. It's ridiculous that we didn't even attempt that, I feel like, once against Southampton. And personally, I actually believe that Thiago Silva playing can and actually will play a massive part in us being a lot better at all of those things that I just mentioned, and that, in my opinion, were the biggest problems in the second half against Southampton. Regardless of it being kept by Caballero or Mendy in goal, I just think Thiago Silva coming into that plays, you know, makes a huge difference. That, plus still slightly better finishing. We need to do that as well, of course. A lot more movement, you know, we really do need a lot more movement, especially when we are being pressed. And then most importantly, I'll say it again, balls, work rate and dedication. Sevilla are a good team, so we better not lose out because they work harder than us, because that would be ridiculous. And they are a hard-working team, so let's not even, you know, put us into that situation. And one other thing I need to say, if we're going to press with the forwards and the midfield, our defence just needs to push higher up the pitch. I mean, we even don't do it when we have Christensen and Zuma, who are quicker than Thiago Silva is. So we can't press with the, you know, I guess, front 6 of the team, but then not press with the defence. Like, that is crazy. You leave such a huge gap between midfield and defence that can just be exploited so easily. If we want to press, we need to play a higher line. And if we're scared to play a higher line because we're scared of being caught out, then accept that and don't press. You can't do half-half. It just doesn't work. Like, everyone should know that doesn't work. And I'm really curious as to whether the instructions from Lampard are, don't push too high for the back line, but the front 6 still press, or whether that's kind of just what happens because the players don't do it right. I'm really intrigued, actually. But, you know, let's just talk about Sevilla for a second as well, who currently sit in 10th in La Liga, although their table is very skewed, as some teams have played 6 times already, others are on 5 games, while the likes of Barcelona and Sevilla have only played 4 games so far due to their involvement in the Champions League / Europa League tournaments, respectively. From their 4 games so far, Sevilla have gained 7 points with 2 wins, 1 draw and 1 defeat against Granada last Saturday, by the way. Where Kennedy, you know, the Chelsea loanee, plays. They would have qualified for the Champions League anyway, coming 4th in the league last season. But to top it off, Sevilla also won their bajillionth Europa League title at the end of last season, beating Manchester United in the semis and Inter Milan in the final, who were actually both, I guess, favourised over them, at least by the uneducated English media. I thought they'd beat both of them quite comfortably, and they did. Maybe not so comfortably for the final, but they still beat them. Because Sevilla are a great team with some very, very good players and a very good manager in Julian Lopetegui, who's on more than just a redemption mission after how things turn out for him with the Spain national team and then Real Madrid. But also players like Luke de Jong, Ocampos, Ivan Rakitic, Jesus Navas, Diego Carlos at the back, and others. You know, they should never ever be underestimated. And they know their 4-3-3 system very, very well. And like I said already, are incredibly hardworking. Also a team that likes to have the ball with an average possession of just under 60% in La Liga so far this season. But also a team that actually struggles with chance creation, or rather with just their finishing, because they've only managed 2.8 shots on target per game so far this season, which is the third, worst, stat, I guess, in La Liga. So that's not great. Even though they create chances, they don't end up getting them on target. So let's hope that stays the same tomorrow. That'd be great. But at the end of the day, like I said, a very good team that will be very, very difficult to beat. And people that think it will be a, walk in the park are just simply wrong. But, like I said already, with Thiago Silva in the side, plus a possible first start for our front four of dreams, I guess, I still think we will get the three points. Because those four, Pulisic, Havertz, Ziyech and Werner, they could be really, really special for us. So I'm going to predict a 2-1 home win for the Blues. I hope I'm right. Well, don't care whether we win 2-1 or however we win. Just that we win. That'd be bloody brilliant. But to be honest, guys, that has kind of been it for me. So I think I'm going to leave it there. Make sure you subscribe to Blues Fans TV, like I said in the beginning already. Help us reach 200,000 subscribers along the way. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video and if you're excited for the game. And of course, leave me your thoughts ahead of the game down in the comment section below. Again, like I said in the beginning, make sure you subscribe to my personal channel if you haven't yet. The link is up there if you click the I button or down in the description. That'd be massively appreciated. And just lastly, one last shout out to our sponsors. Again, pre-order Football Manager 21 with the link in the description. Get it early and get 10% off for using the code BluesFansTV. And again, if you want to order any of the new Chelsea kits, of the new Chelsea gear, make sure you use the other link in the description below and use our promo code BOOTS for a discount. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Up to Chelsea, kind of excited for the game, kind of scared ahead of the game, depending on what team we end up with, I guess. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Up to Chelsea, and I'll see you when I see you.